Hello everyone. Today I'll be taking up to a new topic or a new chapter from history class 12. That is chapter number 2, theme 1. The name of the chapter is Kings, Farmers and Towns, Early States and Economics. It's from c. 600 BCE to 600 CE. Okay. In the beginning, I'll just want to remind you that in chapter 1, we end up the chapter by saying that a civilization, that is Harappan civilization, end after some kind of physical or the natural calamities. Now, after the end of the Harappan civilization, what happened? So we are going to study about that in this chapter. After the end of civilization, the Harappan civilization, what type of developments took place. Okay. In my note here, I am just indicating around 8 to 9 points what really happened after the civilization. As you can see, that point number 1 says that Rigveda. Okay. Rigveda was composed during this period. That means after the end of the civilization, Rigveda was composed, and it was composed in this area, in the area between Indus and its tributaries. Then agriculture settlement started here. The new mode of disposal of the dead bodies and its type started. Then by the same era, by the same period, you will find the new cities and kingdoms also emerge. There were many during this emergence also, means during the period when new areas are emerging, many different things were coming up. Many different turning points in the early Indian history took place. Then many new Mahajanapadas, especially in this chapter we are going to study about 16 Mahajanapadas. Okay, and many were specially ruled by kings. Some were also known as Ganas or Sanghas. Okay? Then, between 600 BCE and 400 BCE, Magadha became one of the powerful Mahajanapadas. And during this period, once again, one empire emerged, that is the Mauryan Empire under Chandragupta Maurya. Okay? He was a founder empire of this Mauryan Empire. Then, after which, his grandson Ashoka led a famous conquest towards Kalinga. Okay, then variety of resources to reconstruct the history of Mauryan Empire. Archaeological finds basically can be found in this chapter. So we are going to study all this in detail. So I'll move on to my first topic. The first topic, according to the book, is Princep and Piyadasi. Now, when you talk about Princep and Piyadasi, the first question is, who is Princep? Okay, Princep, his full name is James Princep. Okay, in 1830, he was asked by the East India Company to come or visit India. Not only India, he himself came towards these areas where the civilization was found. This Harappan civilization or some other civilization was there. Then during his period, what did he do is he deciphered two languages, the Brahmi and the Kharosthi. And whatever he deciphered, he came across that there was one reference to a king named Piyadasi. Now, who is this Piyadasi? Okay, now it is not very well written or very clear in the part, but Piyadasi was there. Whatever he translated in Brahmi or in Kharosthi, his name was referred there. And in some of the inscription, he also found that another name could be also found, that is King Ashoka. Okay, so most of the inscription mentioned during this either had Piyadasi or some had referred to the King Ashoka's name. Then the scholars during this time they started shifting their focus to the context of political changes, economic and social developments. Okay, now they don't only focus on what is to be excavated or not, but they focus on their life. They focus on their way of settling up. They focus on their way of living. Okay, so that is the work of James Princeton and Piadas. Now, if this part is not clear as I'm telling you, please do comment whichever part is not clear. What is this earlier states? As we had taken up the first part, that is the few points before the beginning of this chapter, I told about Janapadas, that is 16 Janapadas. So this 16 Janapadas comes under the earliest towns. Okay, the 16 Janapadas. Now what is this Janapada? Before we go to Janapadas, let us see what is Janapada. Janapada means what? Jana means people, okay, and Pada means setting up of the foot. Now, Janapada means an area where people or clan has set up their foot, okay, F-O-O-T, foot, and made it their own area or clan or their own society, a place for living. Now, 16 Janapadas. So when I talk about 16 Mahajanapada, we have to go back to the 6th century BCE. It was an era which was associated mostly with the early cities. Okay? And during this time, people started learning the use of iron. They learned different ways and means of iron, like how to use or where to use iron. Okay? They basically stopped using plows and all, which are made of wood. But ideas started, and they started using basically new moderns or new types of weapons, equipments or tools which are made of iron. Then besides this, they also learned how to use they started the coin system. Okay, instead of exchanging goods, they started buying and selling things by money. That is, coin system started. Okay. It was really a great step taken by the people, because it made their business very easy and fast moving. Then secondly, during this time, some Buddhist texts and Jaina texts also talk about Mahajanapada, but in their text they said that Mahajanapada has got different names. Means it was not only one. There are certain names which can be seen in the text, Buddhist text or the Jaina text. For example, Vaji, Kaushala, Magad or Magadha, Kuru, then Panchala, Gandhara, Avanti. These names frequently appear in their texts, okay, in the mentioning about the things which was carried on in this Janapadas or Mahajanapadas. Okay, then while most Mahajanapadas were ruled by kings, there were some Mahajanapadas which are not ruled by a king, but it was ruled by a group of men. Okay, and this men basically will be very rich men, which is also known as oligarchies. Okay, oligarchies means what? Rich people or wealthy men or wealthy group of people take the charge of running a Janapada. Okay, and while we talk about this, we also come across that each Mahajanapada had some capital. Means it is not that Mahajanapada has completely like Vaji all together will come under one capital. No, each Mahajanapada had their own capital, okay, which was fortified. Now, for fortification you need armies, right? And these armies, from where will you get? During that time, most of the people are basically what type of job they do? Basically they are farmers. Okay, so now in order to fortify their what is that, Mahajanapada, they need army. So from where to get this, and then what are the duties of the king? Now all these things are written in one book, Dharma Sutras. Okay, and this Dharma Sutras really explains the duties, the work of the king, and what is their duties are written very well. So each king have to read this, or have to go, or means have to follow the steps of this Dharma Sutras. Now in the same book it is written that a king cannot be from any other social categories than Kshatriya. Okay, you can't be any of them. You cannot be a Brahmin, Shudra or Vaishya, but you have to be a Kshatriya. If you want to be a king, you have to be a Kshatriya. So that was written in the Dharma Sutras. Then it was also, as I told you, they need army. Okay, now this army, from where will you get this army? Standing armies are needed for taking care of their Janapadas. So they depend on military, and this military were recruited. Now more often, as it is written, that more often than not from peasantry. Means you cannot totally take people who are not farmers, but yes, you have to take at least some of them who are farmers. Otherwise number of people whom you need may not be sufficient. Now that is all about your first part of this Mahajanapada. Now I am going to the next topic of it. First amongst the 16. Now that means we are talking about 16 Mahajanapadas. Now which was the first Mahajanapada? That is what I am talking about. Magad or Magadha. Between 6th and the 4th century or centuries, Magad or Magadha, it was the most powerful Mahajanapada. Okay, it had a very beautiful region. Agriculturally, it was very what do we say? Fertile. Okay, it was very much productive. The reason behind Magad being very powerful is this. First of all, the Magad had a very fertile land. Agriculture was very productive. Okay. Secondly, you will find that it also had a natural resource, okay, which means they are rich in natural resources. They had lots of animals in their forest, and during their time, elephant was one of the most important, and which was found only in Magad, and that is why Magad became very important Mahajanapada during that time. Not only important, very powerful. Besides, when you talk about this elephant, they used to get this elephant from their forest. They use it in their own army. Besides, they also sell it or gift to the king, whoever is in need of elephants, and that made Magad again an important as well as powerful, because this is the only area which has got elephant, and the kings, they need elephant, so they are in the driving seat. Now then, after this elephant and all, they need to travel from one place to another. And now during their time, for traveling, they don't have roads, they don't have a very good mode of communication, but Ganga was there. Okay, Ganga, which was there passing through Magad, served a very important source of communication. Okay, and its tributaries, not only Ganga, and its tributaries also was one of the cheapest means of communication for Magadha. That is why Magad became very important and powerful Mahajanapada. Then Magad had its power, means why only with this they cannot be powerful. Like if you have agriculture, if you have elephants, you cannot be powerful. You need proper or very good thinking, or strategic people, means those who are very skilled. You need them. So Magad attributed its powers and policies of individuals ruthlessly from some kind of kings who are very much ambitious. For example, Bimbisara, Sabdu, then we have got Mahapadman, and these are the best known kings who used to be like, the drivers for running a Mahajanapada into the right path. So when I talk about Bimbisara, he does not only look after the community, but he also thinks like what is the right way to lead my Mahajanapada to the best. So he has got his own skill. Besides, he has his own ministers who are also very skilled. That is what two different ideas comes together, makes a very good bonding. Then they decide upon something very good strategy, and thus they are very powerful. Now we have got another area, that is Rajaga. Okay. Now the Prakrit name for present-day Rajgir in Bihar, as it is written in your book. This Rajaga was a capital of Magad, okay, in the beginning. But in the 4th century, the capital was shifted from Rajaga to Pataliputra, okay, or we can say Patliputra. The old capital was Rajaga. Okay, now from Rajaga, this capital was shifted to Patliputra. And what is the reason behind this? It's nothing but, every king had or loves his own area. Now, one king was ruling before, and that king said, since I am from this part, this will be my capital. Later on, after him, the successor was from other place. Maybe he loved that area, and then he said, I'll make this capital. Okay, and now in that way, it keeps on shifting. Now, other reasons may be different. For example, Rajaga may not have better means of communication, but Patliputra may have it. So maybe it is very near to river Ganga, so they said it is the best way, it is the best area for communication, so they just shift in that way also. So there are different reasons for shifting. Okay, early empire. What was the first empire that we talk about? Was Magad. Now this Magad was growing very fast, but suddenly the coming up of Mauryan Empire really culminated or controlled the growth of Magad, and they were defeated. Then Magad was taken over by Mauryan Empire, and under the leadership of Chandragupta Maurya, the area was far extended towards Afghanistan and Balochistan. After Chandragupta Maurya came his grandson Ashoka, and that is what we said, Ashoka. The name itself is enough. Now he was one of the best ruler of this period. So he also started to approach and made his own empire. Now he took over Kalinga. As I told you, Kalinga, it's none other than Orissa at present. Now, how do we come to know about Mauryan Empire? Okay, that is what my next topic is. There are some sources. When you say sources, means the books, the evidence from where we come to know about any type of history. So here, the sources of Mauryan Empire is none other than the accounts of Megasthenes. Okay. Now, who is this Megasthenes? He actually is a Greek ambassador to the court of Chandragupta Maurya. Was also called Indica. Now, Arthashastra probably composed by Kautilya or Chanakya, the minister of Chandragupta. Then later Buddhist, then Jaina and Puranic literature. Besides the inscription of Ashoka, there were some things which were also written by Ashoka on the rocks and all. Now, whatever I took or whatever you can see on the video, it's nothing but these are the sources. Now, what we want to know is that how we came to know about Mauryan Empire. These are the evidence of Mauryan Empire. Okay, once again, let's go through the accounts of Megasthenes, which was called Indica, then Arthashastra, which was written by Kautilya or Chanakya, Okay, then later on there were some books like Buddhist, Jains and Puranic literature which also said or talk about Chandragupta Maurya and Ashoka. And then the inscriptions which was written by Ashoka himself on some of the rocks and pillars. Okay, these are all the empires, modern empires sources. So we came to know about sources. Now let us go to Dhamma. Now what is Dhamma? Ashoka used the inscriptions to proclaim what he understood to be Dhamma, okay, which include respect towards elders, generosity towards brahmanas and those who have renounced worldly life. Now you have to treat slaves, you have to treat servants very kindly, you have to respect every religion, you should respect every traditions, not only yours but others also. According to him, Dhamma means it is about being well-being of the people, to ensure the well-being of the people. You cannot just say that I love my religion and I hate others. No. For him, Dhamma means respect everybody. So especially there were some officers which were known as Dhamma Mahanta. Okay. So now what are these? These people go far and wide to within his Mahajanpada, Ashoka's empire, and then he or they spread the news of Dhamma. Okay. As you can see, and since it is written in a very simple way, I just read what is there. Dhamma means nothing but respect. But respect whom? Everyone. Either you are old or young or you are not young, I mean he doesn't care. He said that, Ashoka said that in my empire I want people to respect each other. If you respect, then the Dhamma is being, it's a kind of duty which was laid down by Ashoka so that his people live in peace. Okay, there is no hatred and there is no other kind of fight between people, saying that who is big, who is small, who is rich, who is poor, nothing. He said respect everyone. He also had some administrating centers. Now see, during that time there are 5 main political administrating centers. Okay, and the capital being the Patliputra, and they have some provincial areas from where you can control the different areas of the Mahajanapada. This Mahajanapada cannot be a small one, it is quite big. So you can see they have different small centers so that the works and control goes on in a far better way. For example, Taxila, Ujjaini, Tosali and Suvarnagiri. Now these are the administrating centers which are set up by the empire. Now all these administrative centers control the people around them, and when this administrating control or administrating centers control, they become very much aware of their duties, and when anyone is aware of their duties, that empire becomes strong. So that is what the next point says. Administrative control become very strong because if suppose a king had given a task to leader of Takshila and the leader of Ujjaini or Tosila or Subarnagiri, saying that you have to guide the people in this way, and they all know their duties. When they meet, the king does not have to repeat what to be done, what not to be done. They all know their duties. Thus, the control is very strong, and there is a very good link between provincial centers and the center. So, because their idea is same, their way of living is same, strategy to look after their life is same. That is why they made these centers, and because of these centers, the area become very strong. Then these areas were wisely chosen, okay, as both Takshila and Ujjaini being situated on important long distance routes, while Suvarnagiri was possibly important for tapping the gold mines of Karnataka. So as I told you, all these areas were not only selected for just randomly. No, they are selected in different areas. One area is important for agriculture maybe, so they made that area one center, administrative center. One area is good, as you can say, Suvarnagiri. Suvarnagiri was good for taking out gold, so they took this area as the administrative center and they guide the people how to take more gold, okay, how to look after gold. Some areas were meant for fishing activities might be, so they ask the people like, this is how you have to fish, get more fish, sell more, you earn more money, and the money will be given to the main center. Thus, when you have this type of business, the economy rises or develops, and when the economy develops, automatically the control also becomes beautiful. Okay. Now, communication along this areas or administrative centers where I'm asking you all before I answer, where might be the what might be the way of communication? I think you got the answer. Rivers, right? It was rivers. Okay, they use these rivers, and for communicating these areas from one place to another, they just follow the riverways or the riverine, and thus they get all the necessary things passed on through this river routes. Okay. Now, Megasthenes also mentioned that there used to be a committee with 6 subcommittees for coordinating military activities. Now, what do you understand from this? Now, as we see, resources are there, or the sources are there. Sources means from where we came to know the history. So Megasthenes' book has written that every people have got, means everything has got a committee. There is a committee for army, there is a committee for farmers, there is a committee for fishermen, like that. So here we are talking about committee which take care of the armies. It is said that they have this committee for coordinating military activities. Now, what is the work of military? The 6 different coordinates or different people come together, decide and plan. They ask them, they teach them, they give them lessons and different things. Okay. Then we move on to the next part, that is the Mauryan Empire. Why it became a major landmark. Okay, so as the emergence of Mauryan Empire came up, it became a major landmark. Why? Because Mauryan Empire gave different ideas to our country, different ideas. Okay? Books, education, literacy, fights, importance of economy, how to use river, how to use farmers. All the things are basically, we can say, is taught by them. Okay, so that is why it is said that Mauryan Empire was regarded as a major landmark. Okay, as India was under colonial rule during their time. Okay, now when Chandragupta Maurya took over the charge of India, we can say almost the whole India was under him. During that time, English people were also there with us, and these English people have to be controlled. And you know, Chandragupta Maurya has got very good ministers, and all these ministers they ask Chandragupta Maurya, or they give ideas to Chandragupta Maurya how to fight back the English. Arthashastra, okay, Chanakya have written. Most of the time, this book helped Chandragupta Maurya how to fight, means the ways and means of fighting. So that is why it is very important. Then there are some archaeological finds which were associated with Maurya, saying that this spectacular art was typically related to empire. Means here we are here we are talking about some kind of art or structure. That's all for today. Thank you for your time. I'll be uploading the second part very soon, so keep supporting.